deep in the heart of the dense forest, where the ancient trees intertwined their branches to form a thick canopy, there stood an abandoned house shrouded in mystery. Its weather-beaten exterior, with windows boarded up and roof tiles missing, exuded an aura of desolation and dread. For years, the locals whispered tales of the house's dark past, warning one another to steer clear of its cursed grounds. But despite the warnings, there were always those drawn to the allure of the unknown, their curiosity overpowering the fear that lurked in the shadows. One fateful night, a group of intrepid explorers set out to unravel the secrets of the abandoned house. Among them were Sarah, a fearless adventurer with a penchant for the supernatural, and her friends Alex, Mia, and Jake, each eager to uncover the truth behind the legends. As they approached the house under the cloak of darkness, the air grew heavy with anticipation. The eerie silence of the forest seemed to intensify, as if nature itself held its breath in anticipation of the impending intrusion. Sarah led the way, her flashlight cutting through the darkness as they ventured closer to the crumbling structure. Upon entering the house, they were greeted by an oppressive atmosphere that seemed to weigh down on their shoulders like a tangible force. The floorboards creaked beneath their feet, and the walls seemed to whisper secrets long forgotten. Despite their trepidation, the group pressed on, their curiosity driving them deeper into the heart of the unknown. Setting up their equipment, they prepared to document their findings, hoping to capture evidence of the supernatural that lurked within the house's walls. But as they delved deeper into their investigation, strange occurrences began to unfold. Mia, the group's skeptic, scoffed at the notion of ghosts and spirits, dismissing the eerie noises and inexplicable shadows as mere figments of their imagination. But as the night wore on, even she couldn't deny the palpable sense of unease that permeated the air. As they explored the house, they stumbled upon artifacts of a bygone era, tattered curtains fluttering in the breeze, faded photographs lining the walls, and dusty furniture covered in cobwebs. Each room seemed to hold its own secrets, whispering tales of the past to those who dared to listen. But it was in the attic that they made a chilling discovery, a collection of old journals bound in leather, their pages yellowed with age. As they pored over the entries, they uncovered a tale of tragedy and despair, of a family torn apart by madness and obsession. As the night wore on, tensions ran high as the group became increasingly on edge. Shadows seemed to dance in the corners of their vision, and the walls echoed with the sounds of footsteps that were not their own. It was as if the house itself was alive, feeding off their fear and growing stronger with each passing moment. Then, in the dead of night, they heard a blood-curdling scream that echoed through the house, chilling them to the bone. Panic ensued as they scrambled to find the source of the sound, their hearts pounding in their chests with terror. But when they reached the source of the scream, they found nothing, just an empty room shrouded in darkness. And yet, the sense of dread that hung in the air only seemed to grow stronger, as if whatever lurked in the shadows was toying with them, drawing them deeper into its web of terror. As they frantically searched for a way out, they realized with growing horror that the house was changing around them, its corridors twisting and warping, leading them further into the depths of its malevolent embrace. It was as if the house itself was alive, a malevolent entity determined to claim their souls for its own. With each passing moment, their fear grew more palpable, threatening to consume them whole. And as they huddled together in the darkness, they knew that they were not alone, that something sinister lurked in the shadows, waiting to claim them for its own. In the end, only Sarah managed to escape the clutches of the house, her friends lost to its insatiable hunger. But as she fled into the night, she couldn't shake the feeling that the darkness that had consumed her friends was still out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting to claim its next victim. Deep in the heart of a dark and ominous forest, where the trees bent their dark branches to the ground and the wind whispered incomprehensible words, stood an old abandoned mansion. Everyone who ever dared to disturb its seclusion claimed that it was permeated with the spirits of those who once lived there. But for the young explorer Jonathan, it was merely an object of study, a mysterious place hiding undiscovered riddles and secrets. Being a passionate lover of mysticism and enigmas, Jonathan decided to venture into this gloomy forest in search of answers. His goal was to explore the old mansion, which legends spoke of, and to uncover its secrets, which the local inhabitants whispered about in hushed tones. Thus, one gloomy evening, Jonathan set out on his journey, he marched through dense thickets, penetrating deeper and deeper into the dark depths of the forest. With each step forward, he felt his heart beat faster with excitement and anticipation of what awaited him ahead. Finally, he reached the old mansion, which stood before him like a ghost from the past. The old stone walls and wooden beams seemed to breathe life, harboring secrets that could only be guessed at. But Jonathan was not deterred. He entered the mansion, surveying every nook and cranny like a hunter seeking his prey. Suddenly, in the darkness, he heard strange sounds, rustlings, and creaks. His heart raced, but his curiosity was stronger. Boldly moving forward, he opened an old door, behind which lay even more darkness. Suddenly he stopped, peering into the darkness. Before him stretched a long corridor, like a trap luring him into its embrace. With each step along the corridor, the sense of danger grew. Jonathan noticed that the walls of the room were adorned with old photographs and portraits, as if someone wanted to preserve the memory of the past. But what past lay hidden behind these walls? Finally, he reached the end of the corridor and entered a room illuminated only by moonlight streaming through dusty windows. In the corner stood an old wardrobe, like a guardian protecting secrets, and the whole room was filled with a strange atmosphere, as if the souls of those who had left this world were breathing heavily in this place. Jonathan began to search the room, carefully examining every corner. Suddenly, his gaze fell upon an old book lying on a dusty table. He approached it, opened its pages, and began to read. With each page he read, he delved deeper into the past of this place. Every line told of the lives of those who once lived here and the events that unfolded under this roof. But as he learned more, he felt that something was amiss. Fear gripped him, as if the dark forces of this place were beginning to awaken from their slumber. He realized that his presence here was becoming dangerous, but his curiosity was too great. And then, as he turned to leave the room, he noticed a shadow slowly rising from behind the wardrobe. His heart froze with horror as he realized he was not alone in this mansion. Something sinister and inexplicable awaited him in the darkness. Brave Jonathan prepared for battle, but darkness engulfed him completely. His scream echoed throughout the mansion, but no one heard him. His disappearance became a new mysterious episode in the history of the forest, leaving behind only the shadow of a secret that seemed destined never to be solved. In the heart of the Appalachian Mountains lay a small, forgotten town known as Ravenwood. Nestled amidst towering pine trees and surrounded by mist-covered hills, Ravenwood seemed like a place frozen in time. Its streets were lined with quaint Victorian houses, their paint peeling and windows boarded up, as if the town itself had been abandoned long ago. But despite its appearance of quiet serenity, Ravenwood harbored a dark secret, a secret that had been whispered about for generations. At the edge of town, hidden deep within the dense forest, stood an old mansion known as Blackwood Manor. The mansion had once been the home of the prestigious Blackwood family, but now it lay in ruin, its grandeur faded and its halls filled with shadows. Legend had it that the Blackwoods had been cursed, doomed to suffer a terrible fate for their sins. Rumors of dark rituals and occult practices had long surrounded the family, and it was said that their restless spirits still haunted the halls of the mansion, seeking vengeance on those who dared to trespass upon their domain. You dared to venture near Blackwood Manor, but there were those who were drawn to its dark allure. Among them was Emily, a young journalist with a passion for uncovering the truth behind local legends. Driven by a desire to prove herself, Emily set out to unravel the mystery of Blackwood Manor once and for all. Armed with little more than a camera and her own determination, she ventured into the heart of the forest, determined to uncover the truth. As Emily approached the mansion, she felt a chill run down her spine. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and the once majestic facade of Blackwood Manor now stood as a silent sentinel, guarding its secrets from prying eyes. Undeterred, Emily pressed on, her footsteps echoing loudly in the stillness of the forest. She pushed open the creaking front door and stepped into the darkness beyond, her heart pounding in her chest. The interior of the mansion was even more unsettling than Emily had imagined. The walls were adorned with faded portraits of the Blackwood family, their eyes seeming to follow her every move. The air was heavy with the weight of centuries-old secrets, and Emily could feel the oppressive presence of something lurking in the shadows. But she was not alone in the mansion. As Emily explored its labyrinthine halls, she began to sense a presence watching her, waiting for her to make a misstep. She could hear faint whispers echoing through the empty rooms, and she knew that she was not welcome in this place. Despite her growing unease, Emily pressed on, determined to uncover the truth behind the curse of Blackwood Manor. But the deeper she delved into its secrets, the more she realized that some truths were better left buried. As night fell and the shadows grew longer, Emily found herself lost in the maze-like corridors of the mansion. Every step she took seemed to lead her further into darkness, and she could feel the malevolent presence of the Blackwood family closing in around her. Suddenly, Emily heard a blood-curdling scream pierce the silence, echoing through the halls of the mansion. She froze in terror, her heart pounding in her chest as she realized that she was not alone in Blackwood Manor. With a sense of mounting dread, Emily turned and fled, her footsteps echoing loudly in the empty halls. But no matter how fast she ran, she could not escape the darkness that pursued her, reaching out with icy fingers to drag her down into its depths. And as the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, casting long shadows over the forest, Emily's screams faded into the darkness, joining the chorus of voices that haunted the halls of Blackwood Manor for eternity.